Have you ever felt that mornings drag you along as if you were reacting to the world instead of creating it? What if every morning could become a sacred space, a moment for you to anchor yourself in peace, wake up with intention, and prepare yourself from a place of love for whatever comes? Many people get up every morning as if it were just another obligation rather than a rebirth. They drag their bodies, repeat the same thoughts from yesterday, and start the day without love, without intention, and without connection to themselves. And so, day after day, life begins to feel like a soulless routine, as if something inside were turned off. But Louise Hay taught us that every morning is a new opportunity to choose again, to choose thoughts that nourish you, words that lift you, and actions that reflect the love you deserve to receive. Because what you think when you wake up becomes the energy that carries your day. You don't have to keep repeating the past. You can start over here, now. You can look in the mirror and say, "Today I choose to love myself. Today I choose peace." What if the way you start your day were the key to transforming your entire life? Deciding what is in your control and what is not is one of the greatest acts of love you can have for yourself. Every morning is an opportunity to release the weight of what you cannot change and return to yourself. Return to that sacred space where your true power resides, your thoughts, your attitude, your energy. When you pause for a moment before starting the day and consciously choose where to focus your attention, something inside you aligns. You stop fighting against the external. You stop wearing yourself out trying to change what is not up to you, and instead you focus on taking care of your inner world, which is where everything begins. Louise Hay used to say that our thoughts create our reality, and that reality begins with what you decide to think upon waking up. You cannot control the weather, nor other people's decisions, nor unforeseen circumstances. But you can choose how to respond to all of it, with calm, with love, with a clear mind and a firm heart. When you choose to focus on what is within your control, you reclaim your peace, and that peace becomes your strength to live the day with purpose, without falling into chaos or getting lost in the superficial. From there you build a lighter, more serene, more personal life. Many times, anxiety, deep sadness, or that unexplained fatigue do not come from what we are living, but from how we are living it. When you try to have everything under control, people, outcomes, what others think of you, even what hasn't happened yet, your mind becomes overloaded and your body starts screaming what you are not allowing yourself to feel. You start sleeping poorly. You wake up with a tight chest. You feel like you have no energy even if you haven't done anything physically exhausting. You find it hard to concentrate. Everything overwhelms you. And worst of all, you blame yourself for feeling this way. But it's not weakness. It's a signal, an alert that you have placed your well-being in things you can't manage, in the behavior of others, in the need to do everything perfectly, in the pressure to be okay when inside you are broken. Your body does not need you to control everything. It needs you to let go, to rest, to speak to yourself with love, and to slowly begin to take care of the only thing that is truly in your hands, your thoughts, your way of responding, and the way you treat yourself every time something hurts. What is in your hands, even on the most difficult days, is your attitude. You can choose how you speak to yourself when something goes wrong. You can decide whether to punish yourself or to be compassionate with yourself. Above all, you can choose how to respond to what hurts you. Maybe today you cannot change the diagnosis, avoid a painful conversation, or solve the problem that keeps you awake at night, but you can take a deep breath, put a hand over your heart, and remind yourself, "This too shall pass, and I will be with myself no matter what." That choice, no matter how small it seems, is what begins to change everything. Choosing not to give up, choosing to treat yourself with kindness, choosing to respond with calm, even when you feel fear or anger inside. It's not about having control over everything. It's about not abandoning yourself when everything seems to be out of control. And that strength, that silent determination is yours. It always has been. When you start living from this awareness, something inside you changes. You no longer react on impulse. You no longer feel trapped by what others do or by what didn't go as you expected. You return to yourself, and from there, from that space of calm, you make decisions with more clarity and less guilt. It's not that anxiety disappears overnight, but it no longer controls you. It's not that you stop feeling sadness, but you learn to hold it without sinking. You become stronger inside, more focused on the essential, and less carried away by what used to overwhelm you. This is not a theory, it is a practice, and it begins every morning. When you choose how you want to feel, how you want to talk to yourself, how you are going to take care of your mind that day, you begin to heal, and without realizing it, you regain control of the only thing that truly matters, your inner well-being. Every morning is a new beginning, but many times we live it as an automatic repetition of yesterday. We get up, we run, we comply, but we don't stop to ask ourselves what for, and so we spend the day reacting instead of choosing how we want to live it. Define your purpose for the day. If you don't clearly choose how you want to feel, what you want to take care of, or what you want to prioritize, the world will do it for you, and it will do it without mercy. Distractions, external demands, and urgent matters that are not yours will absorb your energy before you even realize it. And when night comes, you may feel empty, frustrated, as if you have been very busy, but without moving forward towards anything that truly matters. Having a purpose is not having an endless to-do list. It is having a clear intention. It is telling yourself, today I choose this. Today I choose to take care of my peace. Today I choose to move forward with what nourishes me. Today I choose not to get lost in what doesn't belong to me. Because when you know where you are going, even the smallest things make sense. Are you living your days with intention or just surviving them? Life is not about ticking off tasks on an endless list. It's not about being busy all the time or complying with what is expected of you while you fade away inside. It is about living with intention, waking up and consciously choosing what deserves your attention, your energy, and your time. Every morning can be a pause to reconnect with yourself, to remember what really matters. The essential does not always shout. It is not always urgent, but if you don't choose it, the noise from outside will drown it out. Louise Hay used to say that the simple act of choosing a positive thought in the morning can transform your entire day, and that when you put intention into your actions, the body feels it. The mind finds calm, the energy changes. Living with purpose is not about doing more, it is about doing with meaning. It is giving yourself permission not to fill yourself with things just to feel productive, and begin to build a day that also nourishes you inside. When you direct your life with intention, you stop being a spectator and become the creator of your own experience, and that completely changes how each day feels. Having a daily purpose does not mean demanding more of yourself or filling yourself with goals. It means starting the day with clarity, choosing an internal direction that gives meaning to what you do so that you don't get lost in the rush, in the pending tasks, in what belongs to others. It can be something simple but profound. Today I choose to speak to myself with kindness. Today I choose to set boundaries without feeling guilty. Today I choose to take care of my energy, even if that means saying no. Louise Hay said that when you choose a healing thought upon waking up, everything in your day organizes itself around that choice, because intention acts like a compass. It doesn't prevent challenges, but it guides you firmly towards what nourishes your soul. You don't need to do everything, you just need to do what brings you closer to yourself today, and that alone already makes your day a worthwhile day. The real problem is that many people live their days on autopilot. They get up, respond to messages, comply with what is expected, but inside they feel that something is missing, as if they were being dragged by an invisible tide that never stops but also never takes them anywhere real. They comply with everything, but they forget about themselves. And so little by little, the joy goes out, the tiredness sets in, and that feeling of emptiness appears that cannot always be explained, but that is felt in the body, in the gaze, in the soul. Louise said that when you don't know where you are going, any direction seems exhausting. And it's true, because without a course, without an intention, even the smallest things become heavy, and life begins to feel like a list that is only checked off, but not enjoyed. We are not here just to survive the day. We are here to live with meaning, with presence, with love, and that begins with one single choice: to stop forgetting about yourself. But when you choose to start the day with a clear purpose, something changes inside you. You are no longer at the mercy of chaos or emotional exhaustion. You take the helm, you regain direction, and even if the world outside continues with its rush, you walk with a different energy, with the certainty that you are moving towards something that makes sense to you. Every decision, no matter how small, becomes a conscious choice. You no longer react out of inertia, you act with intention, and that frees you from the trap of the trivial, the urgent, but empty. Your compass is no longer outside, it is inside. And from there, from that internal guide, your day takes on another form, calmer, more in tune with you, more real. Time is the most valuable thing you have. It doesn't come back. It doesn't repeat itself. It cannot be recovered. And every day that passes without intention is a lost opportunity to be present in your life, to choose for yourself, to grow a little more. You are not here to live on autopilot. You are here to wake up with clarity, with purpose, with love for who you are choosing to be. When you start your day with that awareness, you become the creator of your reality, not a passive spectator who only reacts to what happens to them. Your journey is yours, your energy is yours, and you deserve to live every day as if it counts, because it does. Start with voluntary discomfort. We live in a world that has taught us to avoid any form of discomfort. Everything is designed so that you don't feel even the slightest friction. Instant hot water, fast food, immediate comfort, constant distraction, and without realizing it, we begin to fear the most natural things: silence, effort, waiting, even our own emotions. But when everything is easy, when everything is immediate, something inside goes numb, because the soul does not grow in constant comfort. It grows in the spaces where you choose to lovingly face what is uncomfortable, what is difficult, what moves you. Louise said that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise, and sometimes the greatest act of self-love is to step out for a moment from that comfortable and repetitive zone that no longer serves you. Waking up a little earlier, putting the phone aside, saying no when you always say yes, holding an emotion without running away from it. They are small gestures, yes, but they are loaded with power, because every time you consciously choose something that is uncomfortable but strengthens you, you are telling your mind, I am in charge, I can hold my own. And little by little, that transforms your energy. Voluntary discomfort is not a punishment or a sacrifice. It is a tool for growth, self-listening, and inner strength. It's not about forcing yourself or suffering for the sake of suffering, but about reminding yourself that you are stronger than you think, that you can be present even when something is uncomfortable, that you don't need to escape, get distracted, or numb every sensation that challenges you. Maybe you choose to take a colder shower, take a break before eating, or put the phone aside when you feel anxiety, not out of obligation, but to teach your mind that you are in charge, that you can hold the emotion without reacting immediately, that you can make space for silence without filling it with noise. Louise taught us that when we change our relationship with thoughts, we change our relationship with everything. And practicing small discomforts with love is a way of telling your mind, I am here, I am present, and I can handle this. That doesn't harden you, it frees you. Dare to look at what you fear. Many people live trapped in fear of the future. They fear losing what they have, that something will fail, that they will be criticized, that life will change suddenly without warning and without realizing it, that fear begins to dictate their decisions. They stop taking risks, moving forward, saying what they feel. They start living more to avoid pain than to create happiness. But Louise said that what we don't face dominates us, and that when you look directly at what you fear most, that fear begins to lose power over you. It's not about obsessing over the worst that could happen. It's about recognizing that even if things don't turn out as you expect, you can be with yourself with love, that you can go through a difficult time without destroying yourself inside, and that nothing external has more power than your will to heal, grow, and start over. When you give yourself permission to look at what frightens you, without hiding or rejecting it, your mind stops being on constant alert, and your body breathes and your soul rests. Instead of living in fear of what might happen, you can prepare yourself from within, not with anguish, but with awareness, not to control everything, but to know that no matter what happens, you will know how to hold your own. A loving practice you can incorporate every morning is to take a moment of silence, to imagine what challenges might arise today, and how you want to respond if something doesn't go as you expect. It's not about filling yourself with worries, but about anticipating with calm and strength, about reminding yourself that you can maintain peace even in the midst of chaos, that you can choose a thought that strengthens you instead of giving in to fear. Louise taught us that everything starts in the mind, and when you visualize your day with acceptance, with conscious responses, with love, you begin to take away power from fear and return it to yourself. It may seem that imagining the difficult is a negative thing, but in reality, it's the opposite. It's not pessimism, it's emotional self-care. It's a way to prepare yourself inside so that the unexpected doesn't break you, but finds you in a state of calm. When you give yourself the space to visualize that not everything will be perfect, that there may be changes, delays, unforeseen events, or even losses, you are not giving up, you are strengthening yourself, because you no longer live from the tension of wanting everything to go as you planned. You begin to trust more in yourself than in circumstances. And if that day everything flows, you are grateful with an open heart. But if something goes wrong, you don't fall apart. You breathe, you remember your center, and you respond with serenity. Louise Hay said that being at peace with yourself is what allows you to go through anything with grace. And this practice is a loving way to build that peace even before you need it. Imagining the difficult does not mean living in fear of the worst. It is not about obsessing or attracting tragedies. It is about preparing your mind and your heart so that if a complicated moment arrives, it doesn't take you by surprise or drag you into fear. It's like creating a solid foundation within yourself, an inner voice that tells you, if something happens, I'll be able to handle this. Louise Hay taught that when you trust in yourself and in life, you stop living with constant anxiety, and emotionally preparing yourself is not an act of distrust, but of love. Love for your peace, for your stability, for your inner power. When you train your mind to respond with calm, instead of reacting with panic, you not only protect yourself, you give yourself permission to live with more security, even in the midst of uncertainty. Life is unpredictable. A loss, a crisis, an illness, a piece of news that changes everything can arrive at any moment. And no, you cannot avoid those moments, but you can prepare yourself from within so that they don't completely break you. When you allow yourself to think calmly about these possibilities, without dramatizing, without anticipating suffering, but just by recognizing that they can happen, something is released. You stop living in denial or on constant alert and begin to build a deeper confidence, the one that knows that even if something hurts, you will be able to accompany yourself with love. Louise Hay taught us that it's not about controlling the future, but about knowing that you have the internal resources to get through it with clarity. And that doesn't come from fear, it comes from conscious preparation. It comes from choosing thoughts that sustain you and cultivating an attitude that gives you back your power, even when everything around you seems uncertain. It's not resignation, it's emotional strength, and that strength is a gift you can give yourself every day. Remember that life is not infinite. Talking about death is uncomfortable, but ignoring it does not make it go away. We live as if we will always have another tomorrow, another try, another opportunity, and meanwhile we postpone what is important. Love, forgiveness, change, self-care. Louise Hay said that life happens now, and that when you truly understand that your time here is limited, you start to truly live. Remembering that one day we will no longer be here is not sad. It is profoundly healing. It brings you back to the present, helps you value what you do have, let go of what doesn't matter so much, and look with more tenderness and urgency at the things that do count, because life is fragile. Yes, but that is not a reason to fear it. It is a reason to embrace it, and when you live with that awareness, each day stops being a repetition and becomes a gift. Those who forget that life has an end often live postponing the things that matter most. They believe that there will always be a tomorrow to dare, to say what they feel, to heal what hurts, or to live their dreams. But that tomorrow does not always come. And when time runs out, what is left is not pending tasks, but unspoken words, hugs that were not given, decisions that were silenced by fear. The most painful thing is not what happened, but what we let pass. And that is the great wound of those who postpone their truth, waiting for the perfect moment. The truth is that the only perfect moment is now, because everything you don't do from the soul, sooner or later becomes a weight in your heart. But whoever lives remembering that time is limited does not waste it. They live with more presence, with more gratitude, with more intention. Every word they say is careful. Every hug is valued. Every small gesture becomes part of something bigger. There is no longer room for pride, for paralyzing fear, for excuses, because they know that this moment is unique and they honor it with all their heart. When you are truly present, even the simplest things are transformed, and living with the awareness of your finitude is not a condemnation, it is a liberation. It takes you out of autopilot and reminds you of the essential that you came to love without reservations, to express yourself with truth, to leave light in the places you pass through. You are not here to survive life. You are here to live it with purpose, with soul, and without leaving anything important for later. There are no guarantees that we will see another sunrise, but there is something that is always in your hands. How do you choose to live this day? Can you let yourself be dragged by the trivial, by the urgent, by what does not nourish you? Or can you decide that today is worth it, that today is sacred, that today deserves your presence, your gratitude, and your truth? Louise Hay said that the only moment you truly have power is now. And when you choose to live with that awareness, your energy changes, your body responds, and your soul expands. Remembering that life has an end is not sad. It is profoundly liberating because it wakes you up and reminds you that the greatest gift is not having more time. It is taking advantage of the time you already have with love and intention. Today I value my life and choose to live with intention. Every moment is a gift, and I decide to make the most of it with love and presence. I trust that I have the power to make this day count from a place of calm and gratitude. Don't react immediately to anything. Impulsivity does not always shout, but it wears you out. You can break bonds, ruin opportunities, and fill yourself with guilt for words or decisions that were not born of love, but of impulse. We live in a world where everything demands quick responses, messages that await confirmation, opinions that provoke, emotions that rise like waves. And without realizing it, we often react before we feel, before we think, before we breathe. But Louise Hay reminded us that you are not your emotion. You are the one who observes it, who holds it, who can choose with awareness. When you choose to stop before acting, you are honoring your mental peace. You are creating a sacred space between what you feel and what you decide to do. And that small space is freedom. That's where you can choose to respond with calm, with clarity, with compassion, because it's not about repressing what you feel, but about not letting it take control of your life. Today I choose to breathe before I respond. My peace is more important than an immediate reaction. I have the power to choose how to respond, and I will do so with awareness. True strength is not in reacting faster, or in showing that you always have a ready answer. True strength is in stopping, breathing, and responding from your center, not from chaos. You can choose a thought that gives you back your power, and that includes choosing how you react to what happens to you. You cannot control what happens out there. The unforeseen events, the words of others, the challenges of each day, but you can choose how to respond. And when you do it from a place of calm, you are reclaiming your peace. You are telling your mind and your body, we are safe. We can handle this without destroying ourselves inside. That is what strengthens you. Not the automatic reaction, but the conscious response. This teaching is a loving reminder. Your emotions are valid, but they do not have to make the decisions for you. You can feel anger, sadness, frustration, and still choose not to act from there. Not because you are repressing what you feel, but because you are giving yourself permission to understand it before you react. When something bothers you, don't rush to respond. Stop, breathe, listen to what your body is trying to tell you. Sometimes you just need a minute to transform a reaction into a conscious response. Self-observation is an act of love, looking at yourself with compassion instead of judging yourself, pausing before speaking, holding an emotion instead of unleashing it on another. That's not weakness, it's emotional wisdom, and it is the first step to living with more peace and less guilt. Today I choose to listen before I react. My emotions are messengers, not my absolute guide. I have the right to feel and also to respond with love. Having self-control does not mean that you must repress what you feel. It means learning to listen to your emotions with respect and then deciding how to act from a place of calm, not from reaction. It's not about ignoring anger, sadness, anxiety, or frustration. It's about recognizing them, giving them space, and not letting them take control of your words or your actions. Because when emotions govern your responses, it's easy to say things that hurt, to make hasty decisions, or to interpret reality from a place of fear and not from truth. Louise Hay reminded us that our emotions are not enemies. They are signals. They show us what still needs love, what hurts, what is asking for attention. But you are greater than what you feel. And when you choose to act with awareness, even in the midst of chaos, you are healing something deep within you. Today I allow myself to feel without judging myself. My emotions guide me, but I choose from a place of calm. I respond with love, even when something hurts me. Today is a new opportunity to return to yourself, to release the rush, to stop reacting to the external world, and to reconnect with that internal space where your calm, your clarity, and your power reside. Nothing and no one out there has more power than your decision to live this day with awareness. And even if the world rushes you, even if others expect immediate answers, you can choose. You can take a breath, feel before you speak, observe before you act. That small instant between what you feel and what you do is your sanctuary. Remember, it's not about not feeling, but about not losing yourself in what you feel. Anger, sadness, anxiety, even emotional exhaustion. They are all human, they are all valid, but you are not just that. You are the consciousness that can hold it all with love. And every time you choose not to react from impulse, but from serenity, you are building a new version of yourself. Today, as you begin your morning, allow yourself to be gentle with yourself. Speak with kindness. Breathe deeply and repeat to yourself, "Today I give myself time to respond with calm. Today I choose not to react from the wound, but to act from love. Today I will be with myself through everything I feel and treat myself like someone who deserves peace." This day is beginning, and with it the possibility of living it differently, not perfectly, not without challenges, but with you present, firm, and at peace. May you have a day full of conscious decisions and moments that bring you closer to yourself. How do you feel at this moment? Do you think this video can help you live the day with more calm, more clarity, more energy? I would love to read your thoughts in the comments. Tell me how you are going to start looking at your life from today. What different decision is born from within you after having listened to this message? Thank you for being here. Thank you for opening your heart to this space. This channel is not a place where you are judged or expected to be perfect. It is a refuge where we find many real people with real stories in the sincere search to be a little better every day. Here we form a solid community, with purpose, with love, with intention. So if this content did you good, if you felt even a small relief or a new clarity, I invite you to share it. Maybe someone you love will also get it just when they need it most. Like it if you enjoyed it. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming, and always remember this phrase from Louise Hay: no matter how long you have had a negative pattern, you can begin to change it today in this very moment. I send you a big hug wherever you are. See you very soon in a new video.